this
Come
took
that way. Mhm.
this took place between New Albany and Oxford. It's William Faulkner's home, and it was about halfway there. He came back from Hollywood, and he was going to be a writer and do this town and have all these buildings. So he began to develop the town. But he was an alcoholic, and then that did him in. So, but anyway, I had a friend that lived close to this place, and so he said he would take me out there and show me where it was. So that's what we did, and I worked on it and kind of got tired and left it alone because there was so much together. And then I came back to it and began to draw the city the way that it was. So we started with, let's see, this is the entrance. This is the entrance.
To the property?
To the property, and look at this, shadow was there.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went down this road, and we came out, and here was this tree, and it was gorgeous, and underneath the tree was a place to sit. The barn, I believe the barn was there where he put food for the cattle. Then
Why was it called the commissary?
I really don't know. And I went on down from there and ran into the main house. This was the main house, and I did some of course, filming, but I also did some actual measuring. And I could tell you how the whole back looked too.
To get the perspective.
Mm-hmm. This was it. But of course, at this time, actually the shrubbery was this tall.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to go back but it is accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And my father was a master carpenter, and so he helped me out with a lot of it. This, you took a left, and then you ran into this building. Now this building had windows back here, had an added room on the left, and this is where it was called the guest house. Now at the time that I found it, the porch was on the ground and I had to do some repair, but I measured it so I could get it accurate. On the side of that house is this building right here. This is the side of the house. And had these actual trees there. And then if you were standing on the porch of this house, this is what you would see. This would be the porch. And actually, at the time that I painted this, the porch was sitting on the ground,
Oh.
and this was, so it's like, I got it just before it was gone. And then if you went into the house, this is the double doorway that you would see into this room. This is hallway. A heater would have been here in the wintertime, and he had his book storage here. And this is a window looking out on the other side. What you would see was a lot of woods. And this also was a view of the outside. I wanted to see what the inside looked like so that people would see it would get a good evaluation of what it looked like. Then I backed away. Probably at this time, all of this was not there, but they had a cotton field on the other side. So what they did was take this and made a division. So all this that I've just showed you was most of it was on this side. So it has a lot of large birds. There's 3 on that, and there'll be animals. If you look at it real close, you can see some. animals that was on there, but that was the dividing line.
So they planted that to try to.
Well, I think it was probably an accidental planting because it shadowed, it's kind of the end of the rows of cotton on the other side.
Okay.
You know, but not a complete, because we had these other two that were there on the other side of this. Like these here was on the other side to the left of it.
So how many acres was it? Do you know?
I didn't think about that. I don't know. But this is accurate, and
Yeah.
if I had not gotten this, it would have been forever lost,
Yeah.
because I worked at it and went back and worked on this several years,
Right.
because I had to tell the whole story, and I'm glad I did.
Yes.
I thought it was so popular.
Right. Well, let me tell you, people absolutely love these paintings. They do. They stop and they stare and they look and they
Well, I'm
are
gonna
in
tell you,
amazement.
what I didn't emphasize was that you all are the only people in the United States who has this.
Oh, hey, wonderful.
You know, yeah,
it's great.
if I hadn't gotten it. But I think it's really important because
Yes.
it talks about our people and how they were, and it gives us a history lesson.
Yes.
It really does. And
And how did you find out that it was there?
Henry Jones and Shirley Jones. Shirley was a marvelous person who believed in the arts. Henry was a master carpenter, and they knew about this, and so we were close friends, and so one thing led to another, and you know, but it took several years to get all this together.
Sure.
Because it was a lot of, because I had to do other things,
Right.
you know.
And so no one was living on the property at the time, right?
No.
Mm-hmm.
I ran into her later at one of our yearly meetings, and they had bought the land all but the 1 acre. I've never seen her again, but it sold, you know. He came back from Hollywood, and alcohol, I think, got the best, and this deteriorated.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
They kept, you know, Ole Miss and Hill to Hill and whatever. They talked about getting this together and let's do something, but it just never materialized. If I had not gotten this, I was the only one that got it.
Yes, you saved it, didn't you?
I did.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So tell these folks that will see this video at some point, tell them your name and where you were born and where you live now.
Okay. My name is Elsa Joangelle Henry Gaines.
Okay.
That's my full name.
Right. Where were
And
you born?
I was born, my grandfather, oh man, this gets into a lot of history. My grandfather was in the Civil War,
Oh, yeah.
and when he came back, he bought this farm, and then later on, they didn't need to carry the people in. He came home from the Civil War,
Okay.
and they bought this place that was used for the railroad. Before the railroad was built, they had stagecoaches that took them to the houses, and that's what this was. My grandfather bought this. We still live on that property at the foot of Liberty Hill.
Oh, wow.
It's still in the family.
And what town, what county?
South of New Albany, about 7 miles
Okay.
south. Yeah.
Yes, great.
Yeah. And so I have a lot of stories. I have a lot of things that I could tell you about how my grandmother went to school there, how many miles they had to walk to the school. They had meetings on the top of the hill in another old type building, and just whole stories about all this. And so we My grandfather, after the Civil War, went to Texas, became a doctor. So he was a doctor on the hill there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so we still developed that place, and it was a farm. We still own a lot of acreage there still. So I have a lot more stories I could tell you about all that.
Well, we will invite you back to do that. Will you?
Well, let me
That's
tell you,
great.
this is the thing about this right here. Nobody else got it.
Right.
It's lost history if I hadn't got it.
Right, exactly. And we are honored and privileged that it's here. Yes,
Thank
we
you
are.
so much. Thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you. This has been a real treat for me. I appreciate you letting me film you talking about it, okay?
Well, you can
Yes.
see that I get excited.
Yes,
about
that's
it.
great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You know, even
again.
my grandfather came from Texas with his pockets full of pecans, and he came back, and we had a row of pecans as long as this room from the trees he planted. That's what we used all these years.
Oh, wow. Yes. You know, we have rich heritage, don't we?
Yeah, we
It
do.
comes from all over the world.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That's great. New Albany is a very unique, and Union County is
It
a unique and wonderful place to be from. Such rich, heritage.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again.
Well, thank you for wanting to
Yes.
listen to me. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome.